Should you become a yoga instructor? You love to practice, the physical, the mental release. You want to go deeper, to share yoga, but are you ready? Will you like it? Will you even make money? Should you become a yoga instructor? Should you? Hi everyone, I'm Allie. Welcome to my channel Flow with Allie, where I normally share yoga videos, but I'm going to try something a bit different. Creating the video I wish I saw when I was asking myself this same question. Am I going to answer it for you today? No, I can't do that. But I can share with you my experience and what I wish I heard when I was trying to figure out what it's like to teach yoga, how I should pick a yoga teacher training, how I should think about incorporating becoming a yoga instructor into my daily life, and what the reality is of teaching. So I'm here to share with you, not as some master guru, but just as a normal person who made a big shift in their life and decided to pursue yoga. I'll be talking a lot about online yoga teacher trainings versus in person, what you can expect, the pros and cons, all the details. I'm getting into the most taboo topic, money, and some of the negatives of teaching yoga. Grab a drink, I've got a green smoothie here. Very cliche, I know. Let's dive right in. First, let's dive into why get certified and what the experience is like as a yoga instructor. It is this opportunity to go deeper into your practice and then share it with others. When you attend a yoga class as a student, you are there for you, but as a teacher, you're looking outward. It is a beautiful opportunity to touch somebody's life, to introduce this practice for the first time to another person, or to be the first time this person really feels that body-mind connection and just that blissful feeling when you walk out of a yoga class and you have such appreciation for the person who guided you through that experience. That is so powerful. It is so incredibly fulfilling. It is also very emotionally draining. I know personally sometimes I finish a class and it brings up a lot of emotion, vulnerability, and physical exhaustion. It's different than another job in that way. I think it might even be different from other forms of group fitness because you do have the mental side too. I recommend when deciding whether or not to teach to think about what you want out of it, having a why or an end goal, because it is challenging, especially because you have other things going on in your life. But dream big. Is your end goal to own a studio, to lead teacher trainings? Think about what's possible, because there's so much possible in the world of yoga, but teacher training is expensive. And when you start teaching, you are probably not going to be making a whole lot of money. The financial side and the money side is important because it also ties into time and energy. So how much money, time, and energy are you willing to put into this? Do you want to blow up your career and leave your job and go through training and then go start teaching full on, take every opportunity you can? Or do you want to go through your training slowly, maybe take on one class a week, one class a month, depending where you teach? I just wanted to caution you, maybe don't quit your job right away. Wait and see if you like it. Wait and see how you energetically feel. For me personally, I didn't think teaching 7 classes a week and posting a video on YouTube every week would be exhausting, but I found 7 classes in a studio incredibly draining. You just don't know until you try. I don't mean to be a downer. I'm here to share with you the reality. So some of the negatives, it's emotionally draining. There's not a lot of money in it. And 1 hour of teaching a yoga class is not equivalent to 1 hour of working at a coffee shop, because it's not just that hour that you're teaching, it's also creating your sequence, creating your playlist, interacting with students. If you're in a studio or if you're in a space, cleaning up, swiffering the floor, cleaning props, little things. What bothers you? What excites you? What do you like? What do you not like? And the next point is experience level. I think it can be intimidating to go into yoga teacher training thinking that you need to be doing the splits, headstands, handstands, pincha, doing all of these crazy postures and all of the tricks side of yoga. In reality, that's not what you're going to cover during 200-hour teacher training, and most of your students won't be doing that. If you have a base level understanding of yoga, you will of course pick some things up a lot quicker. Sequencing, learning the postures, you have that familiarity, but do you have to be an expert yogi? No, you just have to have the desire and heart to teach, to learn, to grow, and to help others do the same. With that, think a little bit about what types of students you want to teach, because yoga is for all people, and so you can focus your teaching on a certain segment of the population. Athletes who are new to yoga, hardcore yogis, children, women, seniors, chair yoga, yin yoga, restorative. You don't have to decide up front, but you can have an idea the type of people that you really want to impact through your teaching. If you're here, you're wondering if you're ready, and this is sounding intimidating and you're getting nervous, your palms are getting sweaty right now, I want to calm you down for a moment. Yoga teacher training, the 200-hour training, is the introduction. You don't have to go in with a crazy amount of experience. You don't have to know what you want to do, and you don't even have to really be committed to teaching. Okay, 200-hour yoga teacher training. 200-hour is what most studios, gyms, and places will look for if you are going to teach. Once you start looking around, you will find a lot of options. So you can do this in your local studio. Maybe you're already practicing at a yoga studio that you love and you love the staff there. That is an awesome option. It's a great thing because you may actually be able to parlay that into teaching at that studio. You can go abroad and do your 200 hours. You'll probably do that in a couple weeks, so it'll be much more intensive, more expensive though. You can also do it online. So how much are we talking? We're talking anywhere from a couple $100 online to many thousands of dollars, maybe up until $5,000-7,000 range. I think a local studio I've seen will run you $2,500 to $3,500. So there's a big range here. Things that I would look for. Potentially look for Yoga Alliance certified. Some studios and places you may want to teach will want your teacher training to be certified by Yoga Alliance. You can look into them if you like. Also, think about who's leading the teacher training. Do you respect this person, this organization, this studio? Is this person a potential mentor for you, or is there some sort of community aspect that is really intriguing to you? Online is a little bit of a different story because you're not going to have that one-to-one connection, which is also why it is a lot less expensive. In any yoga teacher training, you will be getting the basics on philosophy, anatomy, sequencing, going through the different postures, practicing, putting together your own sequences, and practicing teaching. So now let's talk about online yoga teacher training, the thing that I did, the thing that I know most about. So the positive of it, it is going to be self-paced and a lot more affordable than in person. And I don't want to say this just to say it's better because it's more affordable. If you're doing your training in person, you have an individual who's dedicating their time live for you. They are providing a dedicated space for you, and you may get more one-to-one connection there. So yes, you do lose something with online. It all comes down to personal preference and what you are able to do. Online would be great if you want to do a self-paced program, if you work better solo, if you have constraints, financial or related to your time and the time that you have in your day. So what you will also get in person is you will get that ability to do some practice teaching with other students or with that mentor, that individual who's leading the classes. Whereas if you're doing it online, you would have to create that on your own. If you're doing it online and you're not practicing with other humans in your life, the first time you teach is going to be incredibly intimidating. I can almost guarantee it. But I think no matter what, the first time you teach, you're going to be nervous, and hopefully it's a good nervous, a good scary, a good challenge because of the fulfillment that is there on the other side, which I mentioned at the start. If so far you're really interested in online, let's get into that. I'm going to tell you all about Yoga Renew, where I did my online teacher training. This video is not sponsored by Yoga Renew. I am just talking about my experience, but I do have a link if you want to check them out in my description box. So I personally absolutely love Yoga Renew. I think it's an incredible way to become a certified yoga instructor. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. It's obviously 200 hours. It's all done online, so a teachable online course. If you've ever taken an online course before, you know it's segmented into all the different categories. It's super organized, so if you like to go through and check things off and pass your little quizzes, you can do that. What are the categories? They are history and philosophy, anatomy, the asanas, which are the postures, pranayama, which is the breathing techniques, meditation, yoga business and marketing, teaching tips, sequencing and structuring a class, chakras, mudras, types of yoga. There's hours and hours of live and pre-recorded materials. And on top of that, there's also ebooks, worksheets, handouts, live Zooms that you can attend, all of the pre-recorded Zooms that you can access later and just watch, or sometimes I like to even listen to them as a podcast as I'm doing other things. You're also going to have some community observation where you go out and you analyze a class that you observe or take in a local studio or online, and then a sequencing assignment. So you have to go through and actually sequence your own classes, which I think most students find very intimidating, very challenging, but also super helpful because you can also use those sequences to practice teach on family and friends, and also to take into the first classes that you teach wherever you choose to teach. And there's also a Facebook group of thousands of people from all over the world. So you get to learn from them. People are posting all the time about what they're doing, feedback, maybe even study buddies throughout the teacher training. So logistics here, what is the cost? Yoga teacher training for Yoga Renew 200 hour is typically $1,200, but every single time I've been on their website, it's on sale. I paid $347, which is an incredibly low price, like the lowest that I have seen for teacher training. This teacher training prepared me to teach. I did get some extra trainings after, which I'll explain in a little bit. Who is this good for? Yoga Renew's online teacher training is good for people who don't want to commit to that rigid, structured schedule where you're going in nights, weekends, and dedicating a lot of in-person time because your schedule may be a little bit all over the place. Parents, people who have irregular work schedules or rigorous work schedules where you want to fit in the training whenever you can. I also think it's amazing for people who want to deepen their practice and explore whether or not they want to teach. That was me. I had just gone through a very traumatic experience in my life and then had children. I did this for healing. I did this for my mental health, to start learning and feeling like myself again, but I ended up loving it. I started out thinking, no way do I want to teach in a studio, and now I'm in a studio. More on that in a little bit. It's also great if you're a person who is really good at pushing yourself to get things done and stick with something. If you're good at learning on your own terms. So if you really need that group environment to learn, I would suggest maybe not doing an online teacher training. If you feel like you could do well self-paced, pushing yourself, then this probably is for you. You don't need to be like that in order to do it. If you want to do this over the course of 1, 2, 3 years, that's totally fine too, because you have access to the course materials forever. Also know that after 200 hours, you can go do 300 hours, which I'm currently working on my 300 hour. Yoga Renew has one, but you can also then go and do your 300 hour in person somewhere after you've been teaching for a little while, which is an incredible way to do it. Okay, so now starting to teach and getting jobs. So I'm gonna tell you my story because I hope it helps inspire you on how to navigate the yoga world. I was a TV news reporter and anchor in California. I did that for almost 10 years. I was a producer, reporter, podcaster, just did everything. I was incredibly burnt out, and so I was recently married. I was thinking I wanted a family. I was so burnt out, covering murders, dark stories. It was non-stop. I did some work that I'm incredibly proud of, but I just needed a breather. And I felt like I needed something more. That's when I signed up for 200 hour, not knowing what would come of it, but just hoping that it would be good for my soul and healthy for my body as well. Boy, was it. So what did I do first? I graduated from my 200 hour and I was like, oh my God, I really want to teach right away. Where do I start? I would say, look at your life. What are you involved with? Is it church? Is it school? Is it a workplace? Is it a coffee shop you love to go to? Where are you a regular? What are you connected to? For me, there was a nonprofit that I was super passionate about that I was already connected to, had a local chapter here where I live and also a national chapter. I reached out, I said, I'm finishing my 200 hour teacher training. I would love to teach a class over Zoom. Immediately, yes, we would love to offer that to our parents. Let's do it. We put a date on the calendar. I was terrified, but excited. I'm like, you know what? I'm teaching right here in the comfort of my own home. Let's give it a try, see how it goes. They're not paying for it, so they're gonna be grateful for a class anyway. To me, that felt good. That felt comfortable. And this was for free, $0. From there, I looked on Indeed. I just typed yoga in where I live, and I saw there was a local gym that was adding saunas in, and they wanted a yoga instructor to do an on-camera 30-minute class. So I wouldn't be doing it with students live. It would be pre-recorded and just play on a loop inside saunas. I thought that was so awesome. I was also terrified because I was super inexperienced. I made $500, which is actually very good for yoga because it did not take me that long to do the recording. It took me many hours to plan the sequence and to practice, but it was a great gig. This is something I highly recommend. Wasn't the most experienced yoga instructor, but this unfair advantage was that I had this on camera background, and so that provided value to the fitness world in that way. You may be thinking, I don't have this on camera background, but you do have something else that you were doing before yoga that you can incorporate in some way. Maybe you were a teacher in classrooms. It doesn't matter what it is. Just think about where you have an unfair advantage, where you have some sort of connection. Even if there's not a job posting, you can approach them and just in casual conversation, offer your services. Maybe at first it's free, but I would recommend you ask for a little bit of money, even just for your gas. Don't be afraid of that. What else did I do? There's a nonprofit where I live that has a studio, but also does outreach yoga classes. So they are providing yoga classes to libraries, prisons, schools, to children, to seniors in chair yoga, to you name it, they're there. So I started doing an outdoor class in a park. It was free to the community. I got paid $15 for the class. Not a lot of money, but it was fun. It was a Saturday morning. I got experience and it felt super low pressure being outside. This is my first time with live students in front of me. That was terrifying, but being outside, something about it feels low pressure. It was a good way in to get my feet wet. I have taught at a mental health hospital for youth, and I've also had the opportunity to teach chair yoga to seniors. Then I was like, okay, well, I want a little more. What else can I do? So I look online and I see openings for yoga instructors for 2 of the huge yoga chains in the country. I apply to both of them immediately. These are places that will take new instructors because they have their own training. So talking about 200-hour training, a lot of studios, especially the big corporate ones, will provide free but unpaid training. If you do your online training and you feel like you don't have that experience teaching students, or you don't have enough practical tips on how to structure a class and you just want more, this is actually a great way to get more. I received callbacks from both. I ended up just teaching at one, but I did go through the entire training/audition process, and I spent many hours, I'd say probably 50 hours, learning online. So it was like another online course. I felt it was super beneficial because I learned how to teach classes in these 2 specific ways that, even though it's corporate, even though it's strict, they do have a system in place for teaching, for formatting your classes, for building a sequence. Even if you don't necessarily use that in your teaching, I enjoyed it because it provides a structure. How do you sequence a power class? How do you want to think about warming up the entire spine? Things like that. I am still teaching at one of those studios. I started out by teaching many classes a week and then realized, whoa, this is draining. I experienced the burnout of being a yoga instructor and I scaled it back a bit. One of the studios was $30 for class. That's not just $30 an hour. That's $30 for getting there early, setting everything up, logging students in, and then cleaning up the room after. So $30 for that. The other place was $25 for the class, $15 an hour for all of the other work you're doing. So all in all, it's maybe like $40 a class. That's the one that I'm doing. Not great money. Personally, I enjoy the community aspect, and that's why I stick with it. And that's why I only do it a couple classes a week. I will say that some yoga studios will pay more depending where you live. So this is all regional. I live in a mid-sized city in the US, so that's what it is for me. Some yoga studios do pay flat rate per class and then will give you additional, maybe $5 or a little bit more for each student that comes. So if you fill your classroom, you could be making some really good money. Also, if you start getting really experienced, you can get paid a lot more. As yoga instructors, we love the practice so much, and because we love it this much, we don't necessarily want to ask for money, or we feel like we shouldn't get paid for our time. Yes, I believe that yoga shouldn't be this inaccessible thing. It shouldn't be super expensive. It should be something that we want to share because it's so beautiful and amazing and life-changing. But I also think your time matters. The education and the amount that you invested into your training matters. So if you are burning yourself out, think twice about that. Create some really good boundaries and go into this experience thinking about what you want out of it, because it can be amazing. But I also know that some yoga instructors can get really burnt out because they just love yoga and they want to share their experience and they do things for low or no cost. Okay, let's get to the last thing that I decided to do with my yoga teacher training, which is, you're looking at it. It's YouTube. When I was going through the audition process for those 2 studios, they asked for a 15-minute class. The sauna studio also asked for a 15-minute class. I did it, and then I was having so much fun editing it that I just decided to, whenever I had a chance, make another video and express my creativity, just have fun with it. And I honestly enjoyed it so much, I never looked back. I've been doing a video a week ever since I started. And honestly, if you have that desire to share your yoga practice, I don't think you need to wait wait until you have been doing this for 20 years to get on YouTube. Because if you're a teacher, if you're a yoga instructor and you have something to say and you just want to practice and share your classes, there's true benefit in that. You could share it on Instagram, you could share it on TikTok. Maybe you already have a bit of a following. Maybe you have zero. I had zero on this channel when I first started. It's grown a bit, but it's not even about the growth. It's about doing something that you love and that you feel passionate about. I feel passionate about providing classes for free to help others feel better mentally and physically, because I know how yoga changed my life. My whole goal is to do that for others. I hope everything that I have done helped spark some ideas for you and helped you think about where you could potentially start teaching yoga. It's all about trying things on, having fun, playing, and encouraging that sense of play in your students, and it is so incredibly fulfilling. Dream big. Maybe you're starting out and you're nervous. A dream will motivate you. Maybe you dream of owning your own yoga studio one day. Maybe you dream of leading a retreat. Maybe you dream of being the one to lead a 200-hour teacher training. Maybe you want to have an online platform with paid members. You can also do private lessons and corporate lessons. I say this all to hopefully inspire you and let you know that the yoga world is incredible, whether you want to deepen your practice, learn more about yoga, or make this your full-time career. If you are watching this video and you love yoga, you probably are ready to start a 200-hour teacher training.